Howdy, Daydreamer, and welcome to Dakota Daydreams. I'm Dakota, and this week we'll be going back to the Bedside Garden for episode 13. And this week I want to start off with changing the water on my seeds because honestly, it's a thing I keep forgetting to do. And the water on them is either really off color from the tannins and the type of seed that's breaking down, or almost out. So I've got myself a cup with a napkin in the bottom in case I need to rinse them off a couple of times. And we're going to get some fresh water on these seeds. First up was the passion flower seeds, and they have a little bit of, it doesn't show up on video or photo, but it's like clear with a white tint membrane coming off where I'd expect the root to be on one of them. So maybe it'll take less than a year, I hope. And then Chard Solo, who is still just absorbing water and chilling, but hopefully soon, maybe the fresh water will stimulate it into rooting. And then I finally opened up these nasturtiums. Nasturtiums? There we go. And one of the seeds was completely white with ickiness on the inside, like completely the wrong texture and everything. So I went ahead and just dropped that into the cup and tried to rinse the other two in peroxide to see if I could save them. But there's still quite a bit of weird fluffiness going on in the cup, so hopefully I rinsed it enough times. I think I got it down to just a speck or two, and hopefully that'll be okay. And this morning I saw what looks like a leaf on one of the fig sticks. It's not where I expected it. It's not coming out of the little bud nodules on it, but it's coming out of the side of the branch itself, but it's definitely green and it looks leafy on the edge. And there's finally a root coming out of Chard Solo. The freshwater worked. It looks like there might even be a second one starting on the other side, so I'm gonna let these come all the way out of the seed before I try to move them into a hydroponic spot. And while I wait, I'm gonna start some more seeds. First, I want some like cover on the soil in the pots. So I'm gonna do a little bit of mint in one of them and see if it takes better to soil than trying to germinate in the hydroponic way. And then because I only have enough to do that one time with the mint and then save a little bit for another replanting in case that doesn't work, I'm going to do the other two pots with a little bit of thyme over the soil. And I'm just going to try broadcasting these little seeds across the tops of the soil and see how many come up and deal with any repotting that needs to be done later if it needs to be. And then I'm going to restart my hibiscus seeds because the other ones did not make it. They ended up going very, very mushy very quickly. And that's okay because I still have at least 2 dozen, if not more seeds. And I'm only pulling them out two at a time, so I have plenty of tries to learn from. And these seeds are covered in tiny little hairs, so to get them to actually sit in the water and not float, you have to catch them in a wave inside the germination cup a little bit because they're holding the air bubbles with little tiny hairs. And my impatience is starting to take a little bit of a hold, so I'm gonna start another mango melon. There's still a little bit of time where the one in soil may come up, but I do want to start a fourth one hydroponically just in case it doesn't. So single seed challenge try number 4 has started. But just in case the soil seed comes up and I end up with 2 on a single seed challenge, I'm gonna start one of these orange watermelons as well. And this seed looks so huge compared to the other seeds, but I really, really hope that the watermelon tastes as good as the seed smelled once I got it into some water, because the whole room just smelled like a fresh watermelon. If they taste as good as they smell when they grow up, we're in for a good watermelon. Now, to keep patience while we wait for these seeds to grow, I'm going to share catalog of the week. This week, it's Junk Seeds and Plants. They have been family owned and operated for 118 years, and they have some really interesting things. Inside the first page, we have a letter to the gardening friends, which I think is very sweet, and they let us know that they are offering free shipping this season, so that's extremely cool. And we also have a quick index and an explanation of their symbols below that. And then this beautiful spread of some of their cool and interesting highlights throughout the catalog and the page we can find them on. And their first section is grafted tomato and vegetable plants, where they take the top part of a plant and graft it onto a more established root system. And my favorite one of these was their ketchup and fries plants, where they've taken the top half of a cherry tomato and grafted it onto potato roots. So you get potatoes and tomatoes from the same plant. And Junk Seeds and Plants also has a wide variety of non-grafted plants available, including these Ann raspberries that are a very interesting golden color, and wide varieties of currants, gooseberries, and other small berry plants that I just haven't seen anywhere else, like josta berries. They're also the first place I've seen have grapes available, everything from heritage breeds to newer hybrids, and a wide variety of fruit trees, including Asian pears, nectarines, and cherries, and more. They're also the first place I've seen have nut trees available, including Chinese chestnut and this shagbark hickory. I love hickory smoked meats, so I feel like a hickory tree is somewhere in my future. They even have pilgrim cranberries, which don't need to be flooded. They can grow across the top of the soil like a ground cover, and they grow cranberries. They also had sea berries, which I've heard about a very long time ago, but I've never actually seen, and Rabina mountain ash, which looks similar, but I've never heard of at all. They look tasty though. And then between the honeyberries and the improved Meyer lemon, they have a bush cherry. Not tree, bush. Cherries on a bush. I I've never heard of that before, but that sounds very interesting. They also offer started rose plants. I think my favorite might be either the honey apricot or the campfire. At the end of the plant starts, they have all of their supplies, and they cover all kinds of supplies, including the sonic mole chaser, which sounds like a really cool and helpful thing to kind of use something non-toxic and non-contaminating to keep critters from stealing your hard work in the garden. and a digital soil analyzer that measures pH, temperature, and fertility. I would be really interested to know how it gauges the fertility of the soil and like all of that. So if anyone knows, please drop it down below in the comments how a little digital probe can tell me how fertile the soil is, please. And then after their supplies, they have certified organic seeds, and they have their own little index for the seeds. And they tucked the order form right on top of these beautiful varieties of corn. And it's hard to pick a favorite, honestly. Like, there's so many varieties of corn, and then so many of them are colorful and multicolored and variegated across the ears of corn. Maybe calico, but it is very difficult for me to try and pick a favorite with corn. And then tucked in by their herb seeds, they offer Bohemian horseradish as crowns or roots, which I think is pretty cool, but it confuses me a little bit that they put it by the seeds and not up by the plants and everything. In any case, it's the first place I've ever seen horseradish available before. But junk seeds and plants just kept surprising me because they also have both white and orange turmeric available. And below this section, they even explain like the different applications and uses for the different varieties of turmeric. So that's super cool. And then hiding towards the back of the catalog, I found wintergreen cherry berries. Never heard of that before. Sounds very interesting. Wonder if they're edible. Strawberry sunrise hen and chicks, which I've never kept succulents before, but those are really pretty. And starry night hibiscus. Don't know if that's an edible variety of hibiscus, but it looks gorgeous. Also, those aren't the flowers pulled off. That's just how dark the bush, like the foliage on the bush is. And then an ocean sunset orange glow ice plant. I've never heard of ice plants before either, so I was very pleasantly surprised to find this gorgeous little pinwheel flower. And then their last few pages are a detailed index of every plant and where to find it in the catalog. If you'd like to grab your own free copy of the Junk Seeds and Plants catalog, their link will be down below in my description. Now back to the garden. I was watching Gracie's Home and Gardens, and I realized I already have a watering can. I just gotta put some holes in it real quick. So thank you, Gracie. Now instead of spritzing them like it's raining, I can just give them a good dousing heavy rain once or twice a week. And it is so much easier on the hands to squish a water bottle than it is to consistently just spray and spray and spray until the whole surface of the soil is saturated. So really appreciate Miss Gracie sharing how she's using her recycled water bottles so that we can get better watering onto these roots and maybe even get a sprout up or something. I'm just gonna make sure to turn the pots a little bit as I'm watering, just so it gets all the way around and saturates all of the soil really well. Especially in this third one that has the figs and the marigold, because this marigold is still trying to grow. And trying to root and grow leaves at the same time is really thirsty work for a fig stick. So I have to make sure these ones stay especially hydrated. But this marigold has totally bounced back. I'm honestly really glad I've been documenting it because now in the future, if I think I'm losing a plant, I can look back and say, well, did I try to water it yet? Because just watering it more has completely, like, the foliage is so fluffy that the flower buds aren't even sticking out as much as they used to be. But sadly, on seed check, it looked like I had not rinsed out the nasturtium seeds quite enough, and one of those little specks fully settled itself into what was going on inside that one seed. And this time, I just tossed the whole cup because I can't. If I couldn't get the speck out, I can't get that out. But Chard Solo has officially rooted into two completely separate plants. These Swiss chard seeds are some kind of berry, I think. They definitely have more than one seed in them. And the Roselle are very excited to grow again. They're already rooting, and one of them almost looks like it's ready to come out of that seed. Because of what happened last time, I am going to wait until it's out of the seed completely before I move it with this one as well. And then I accidentally dropped one of the seed starting cups into the seed starting pot, and it moved that flower that I had gotten from my partner, and there was a sprout under it. I'm pretty sure that this is the mango melon sprout that was put into the soil, so I'm glad I have a backup single seed challenge, because we now have twin mango melon seeds, one in soil and one hydroponic. And as soon as it popped through that soil, it is ready to grow. It's already trying to reach for the light, and I have to remember to rotate the pot a little bit every day so that it can reach in different directions and grow strong. I'm still waiting for any of the soil onions to come up, but the ones in hydroponics are still progressing, just still under the foil line so they won't show up on camera. And once upon a time, all of these fig sticks fit in the frame at the same time, but they are growing and they're getting these little nodules on them that I'm pretty sure were leaves, but they're also leafing out the sides, so I'm not sure. I've never grown a fruit tree before, especially not from a cutting, but I know for sure they're still alive. Oops, I think I broke the marigold a little bit. I did a little, but it'll be okay. I'll just pull those leaves off so it's not worried about trying to heal them, and it can just focus on growing and trying to open those flowers up. And before I edit, I always like to check my seed cups just to see if there's one more plant that wants to make it onto this week's video. And it looks like the Roselle is really close. I might see if I can get it the rest of the way out of that seed. But first, Chard Solo has officially released the first Swiss chard out of it. The second one's almost ready, but still a little bit stuck to it, so I'm gonna give it another day or so. So I got the loose Swiss chard most of the way set up. I'm gonna wait to do the foil to see if I have another one though. And we do. It was just barely sitting inside of the seed in there. So it just took a little nudge with my fingernail, and we have a little Roselle. So I got that one set up and tucked in as well. This time, when I took the toothpick to the sponge, I pushed it all the way straight down and let it come out of one of the sides and pulled it out like I was threading a needle or something. Because maybe what happened last time is it did follow one of the tunnels, but I was puncturing it too high and it ended up air pruning itself or something. Not sure, but keep trying till something works, right? Now we have a green marigold a hibernating marigold, and a sprout, in addition to so many seeds starting and getting ready to grow, and little baby flowers and onions getting ready to pop up over that foil any day now. And now it's time for the Flowers Everlasting Spotlight. And this week, in honor of crossing 75 subscribers and actually making it all the way up to 93 at my last check, almost at 100, I'm adding an honorable mention section for those that didn't use the hashtag or tag me, but still have gorgeous flowers growing in their gardens that they shared the stories for. And this week, I'd like to highlight Miss Renee at Renee's Garden Adventures for sharing her chameleon flower that she got from her friend as a gift, and it arrived in all different stages of bloom, from little bitty buds to mid stage, full opened like this one, to what they do after this, and it's really cool. And thank you for dreaming with me. I appreciate every single view, like, comment, and subscription, especially the comments. Please drop down below and let me know you were here so I can say hello. And if you heard me mention a channel or saw a challenge pop up, check out my description for more details and information and links to the channels and challenges that I'm participating in. Until next time, take care of yourself and keep your head in the clouds.